Welcome to Conversations with Epiphany. Let's talk, the show where we dive deep into the essence of what makes our guests uniquely themselves. Join as we uncover the stories, experiences, and moments that shape their lives. From the triumphs to the trials, we're here to explore it all. Let's get talking and discover the heart of every story.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into another Conversations with Epiphany. I am so glad to be here with Debbie Walker Augurson. She's a 2011 inductee into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. And in 2023, she got inducted into the Indiana Sports Hall of Fame for her outstanding high school career at South Bend LaSalle and her collegiate play at the University of Missouri. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, ma'am. I know today, it's Women's in Sports, Black Women in Sports Day. And so I was just looking at over all your accomplishments and everything. So, you're in high school, Indiana, huge, basketball state, Missouri, huge basketball state. So how would you say playing in those two places defined your development in the sport?
Well, as you know, Indiana being a basketball state and having the opportunity to watch all the players here in Indiana, just growing up, I had the ability to watch so many great players in Indiana. Mm-hmm. So in high school, my high school was kind of like it was a jock school, a whole lot of great athletes. Mm-hmm. And we had our men's team, our boys team, they were excellent. And so I used to have the opportunity to watch them and practice with those guys. And so that kind of prepared me to play against anyone, especially girls. Right. And so then also going to the University of Missouri, however you want to pronounce it, playing there. It was a unique situation because at that time we were all under, it was called AIAW, which wasn't the NCAA. Mm-hmm. So at that time, we wasn't allowed to play in the NCAA. So that was my first year and just getting to navigate through that system, trying to figure it all out, how it all worked. And then my second year, we were the Title IX passed. And so we became part of the NCAA. And so just those experiences in those two places at the time of like watching the men's play and having a good men's team, and then going to Missouri and joining the NCAA, so you're the capital. I mean, I don't know, I can't say it. It's kind of crazy, but the type of players just excelled so fast with the NCAA. Not saying that the women's league was not moving that fast, but we already know the NCAA is going to move a lot quicker. So you have to get ready and be prepared.
Right. And were you the only? Did your parents play basketball, or did you? No. Okay.
No, I'm the youngest of 10, and so I'm from a big family, and I grew up on the west side of South Bend, Indiana, which is a phenomenal place for basketball. I was just looking at it the other day. It's the 574 area code, and have so many players coming out of this area code, like Skylar Diggins, for one, and you had Giovanni Wright and so many players. David Magley is he's the husband of the wife, and if you get a chance, interview her. Her name's Evelyn Magley. She started the TBL, which is the basketball league. It's right underneath the G League.
Wow.
And so and so he was our Mr. Basketball. And so just following those guys and seeing all the amazing things that happens when you win was something that I just wanted to be a part of. And so it was a good places at the right time.
Right. Right. And I know, being from Indiana, being inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011, I know that had to be a huge honor for you. So what did the recognition mean for you personally and professionally?
Well, personally, it kind of defined that I had achieved a high level of success that I'd never really thought about. I just played the game for fun. It wasn't, I wasn't thinking about the Hall of Fame or any of that. And so being inducted personally is like, oh, you've been recognized and they remember you, and you did something special. You did something that a lot of people will never ever be able to achieve. And at that time, I didn't really think much of it. I really didn't even think about it until really to the pandemic, to 20, till we all got shut down. You started reflecting back on your life and like, oh, I did that. But at the time, it's like, oh, it's great and everything. But I guess other people let me know how great of achievement it was. It was like, oh, girl, you made it in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. And so, and so other people kind of like, they like treat you different or treat you all these perks and all these good things happen because you're in the Hall of Fame. So it's like, personally, it did a lot of positive things for me and put me in some good places with some good people. Professionally, I get the chance to go back and speak and go to all these Hall of Fames and go meet all the next Hall of Famers, the ones that's up and coming. And a lot of people want to be a part of you or have you come speak or have you do stuff professionally just because you are in the Hall of Fame and you made it. And especially coming out of Indiana, being a female and making it. And so, those are things that made me feel great.
Right. Yes, it's a great accomplishment, very much so. So, who are them? We all, whenever we reach, a milestone in our lives, we never get there alone. So, who are the coaches and teammates or mentors in your life that helped you on your basketball journey?
I can start off in high school. Our coaches were good, they were okay, but they were basically teachers that took the job. And so even before we got to high school, there's a guy named Jewel Davis. He was the recreation coordinator at King Center, Martin Luther King, where we all, like I said, all of us went through Martin Luther King. If you from South Bend, you go through King Center to show that you can play. And so we had a coach named Jewel Davis, and he took us on as young girls, and he navigated us all the way up into high school and protected us, looked after us, made sure we was doing what we supposed to and checking us when we were bad and doing crazy stuff because we were always doing something crazy. And so, he was kind of like a father figured us, big brother. And I just was thinking about him the other day. I'm like, I'm going to honor this guy because he's been in this town for decades and no one has never really gave him a big shout out. So I'm giving it to him now. Jewel Davis, we got you. We're going to have a big party this summer. Yes. And so, after coach, I have to give it to my brothers and my brother-in-laws. They were coaches. They wasn't coaches, but they the one who was coaching me all summer long. So I have to give it up to the family. I have to give it up to my homeboys, all the guys, even though they wasn't coaches. They coached me, the high school boys, the local boys in the neighborhood. Yeah, they all took me under their wing and protected me and taught me what I needed to know. And then as we move on to college, I had Coach Joanne Rutherford. She was a psychology major. So actually she had a PhD in psychology. So you know how she played with your head.
Right.
Yeah, man, I was like that woman. And so, she was one of those type of coaches that, she expected a high level. A high level. I mean, when you step into the gym, we're young and goofy. We're shooting around. But she's the type of coach, when you step into the gym, when she stepped on the floor, she expects you to be soaking wet, already warmed up, ready to go. And so just having her as a coach, putting that fire under you and making you do what you're supposed to, and then seeing the results from what she put you through. She put you through all this rigorous physical exercise and all these psychology games and having psychologists come in messing with your head and all this stuff. So having her made me grow up real fast. And at first I was like, oh, she makes me miserable, and I was like, but I was like, but we was winning. So, she's doing something right. So we're winning. And so you buy into her system because we all bought into her system because that's what we're doing. We were winning.
Right.
And, we had a majority of, you already know our team was all white. And so we're playing these teams that's mostly all black. And so like we were getting beaten up. And so it's like, okay, I listened to her and I learned from her, and she took me under her wing, and she's in her main goal. She said, I don't care what you do, when you leave here, you're going to graduate. I was like, okay. And so that's what took me, that's what made me really, really appreciate her, because it wasn't just basketball. It was academics. I mean, academics to the point where she stayed on you. You couldn't even, after practice, you couldn't even go home and take a nap. You had to go to study hall if you didn't have a 3.0. So yeah, she's one of the ones who shaped and helped mold me for the woman that I am today. And I still talk to her and get in contact with her. And yeah, so she's one of my favorites. After not really caring for her at the beginning, she turned out to be great. Yes.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I know you went to, like said, Missouri for college. So when did that come into play? When did you know that you wanted to go to Missouri to play? Or was that like a whim, or did you kind of already like know, like at your senior year in high school, that you wanted to?
I didn't really know anything, tell you the truth. You know, we just played basketball and we watched men's college basketball. We never saw any women on TV and on television. And so I just started getting all those letters and colleges calling you and calling you and calling you and bugging you. And so I was kind of getting irritated by it, because I knew about Purdue because Trina Robinson, the young lady that lived across the street from me, she ran track for Purdue. So she would take me down to Purdue. And so I kind of got a feel of, okay, this is what college is like, what it's like. And so when it came to schools, I spent my summers in Seattle. So I want to go to UW, University of Washington. But at that time, their program hadn't started. They was pretty much just getting started. Then like Seattle U was, it was in Seattle, but I was like, man, I don't really like their campus. And so I went to Kentucky, I went to some other schools, and then I finally decided, okay, Central Missouri State, and Missouri, the coach from Missouri, she called me all the time. And so I felt like I had a relationship with her, even though I didn't know her. We would talk on the phone often, but she always was asking me about grades and things like, and how was school going? And it was always about my family and how my family doing. She cared about me as a person. It wasn't, well, maybe that was her recruiting strategy, but it worked, because I was like, okay, she wants me to be successful, and she's going to look out for me, and she promised me. Okay, so we were headed to a teammate and myself. We were headed to Central Missouri State, and so we were on the bus, and I looked out the window and I saw Missouri. 20 miles or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's the school that's been calling me. And that's the coach. So I told my teammate, I'm like, I'm going to hop off and I'll catch up with you. I'll come down there after I go see. So I hopped off the bus and I went to the Greyhound and I called her, and they came and picked me up. She was kind of surprised because she wasn't expecting me. And so I was like, your point guard's here. They came and pick me up. So they picked me up, and then I stayed there 3 or 4 days and had an amazing time, and everybody was super nice to me. I liked the facilities. I liked the way that it didn't matter who you were. She's pushing everybody. The top person, sometimes the top one doesn't get pushed the way the other ones are treated the same. But yeah. And so, and the team was, it was hard. It was hard to score. It was hard to get rebounds. They was busting me in the gut and just terrorizing me. And so I was like, man, this is hard. And so I was like, but they could shoot. So I was like, this team is good. I mean, they could shoot. Seriously. I'm like, okay. And so I was thinking, maybe I won't go down to Central Missouri State. This is a smaller school, and Mizzou has to be better. So I'm just going to stay here. And so I had so much fun, and I liked it. I'm like, I think I want to go to school here. And I visit other schools, but I wasn't treated the same. And it was just something special about Mizzou. I just like, and I didn't know much anyway, so I didn't have much to compare it with. What I'm going to compare it with. I hung out at UW in the summertime, playing out there all the time, and Notre Dame was just getting started. And so I'm like, I didn't know anything, but if I know I didn't know the history of the school or any of the state or anything. I'm just like, okay, they play good basketball and they can shoot, and I think I can fit in here, and I think we can win, and that's what we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
throughout your playing career, have you ever experienced a moment where you felt underestimated or pressured as a female athlete, and how did you respond to that?
Repeat that again, please.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I said, have you ever experienced moments where you felt underestimated or pressured as a female athlete, and how did you respond to that?
Um, Not so much. I can't say that I felt pressure as a female athlete in any situations. Underestimated in situations in which I think it would be like, say, like when we first went to Mizzou, so when I got there, the men's program was huge. Okay, they're almost, I know this is in top 10. And so feeling underestimated in the fact that we were see two of the guys from the men's team were on the Indiana All-Star team. So I was on the women's team. So I knew two of the guys that came to Mizzou. So I was going over there, checking them out, go see them in class or see them. They got everything. Shoes, jackets, everything. Yeah, several pair, and we got nothing. Our locker room's raggedy, everything. I mean, not raggedy, but it wasn't like the men's.
Right.
So it wasn't okay, but the men's, everything they got top line of everything as much as they wanted. So feeling underestimated in a situation like that, and where you in a program where the two are not equal.
Right.
And so that first year, you can see that we were not equal due to the fact that we're catching the bus and they're flying.
Right.
Excuse me. They're we long road trips, and we're excuse me, we're staying local, and they are going to California, going to all these different places, and we were just round the loop round, just local. So then the next year we became NCAA. And so then you start seeing, oh, Nike came in, took over. We had the best shoes. We got a new locker room. We had jackets, shoes, all the stuff you wanted, you can get, And so, yeah, that's where I saw the difference in the men and the women's and feeling underappreciated. And then to see the difference when Title IX came in and changed the game.
Right.
And made them give us what we deserve. So it's sad that you had to go to court to get what you wanted. But once we got it, we did well with it because we went to the best places. We started traveling. We're playing UCLA. We're playing in Southern California. We're playing better teams. So you're playing better teams, meaning that you get more experiences. And more experiences mean you can win more because you've been playing top teams. So, yeah, that was the difference.
Right. And who was your favorite opponent in college? Did you have one, or like what team? Yeah.
Kansas had Lynette Woodard. Lynette Woodard, she was a Harlem Globetrotter. And yes, and she could jump out the gym. Actually, she tried to dunk on us. So having she was one of my favorites, and I liked watching her because she was the top player in the country, but she wasn't cocky. She wasn't boastful. She just went out there and put in work and had a great personality and a great like a great leader. That's what she was. Yeah.
Right. What advice would you give today to young girls, especially young Black girls, to achieve success both on the court and off the court?
I would tell them to, first of all, make some goals and decide what do you want and how do you think you can get it. And so, say for example, I knew I wanted to go play basketball, so I have okay, I have to set some things that's going to help me get there. I'm going to run every day. I'm going to shoot so many times a day. I'm going to study the game. I'm going to talk and find, like you said, find a player that I like that's excellent and study them and try to repeat what they're doing and copy them. I would tell them to always know that failure is going to bring success. You can't not have success without failure. And a lot of kids today, they fail and they want to quit, and they can quit now and transfer 15 times and do all that stuff. But when we were playing, you couldn't transfer. I mean, you could, but you had to sit out. And if you sit out, you're going to lose some of your some of your games. So I would just tell them, yeah, keep going, and don't let anyone tell you that you cannot do it. You can. If you want to be good, you have to practice. You have to sacrifice. When everyone's going to the beach, you have to go lift weights. When everyone's out for summer vacation, you in the gym. When everybody's doing family barbecues, you got to go take care of your business, and then you go. And that was the thing that I really stressed. It's a lot of hard work, and it's even harder now because the competition level is so high. You got kids playing at 3, they going to camp at 4. You know, yeah. So you're playing against a lot of competition. So work hard, believe in yourself, and you're going to fail, and you need to know that failure is okay. It's okay. You fail, you get up, you keep going.
Right.
Never stop. And I always think of these 2 words like adjust and adapt, because you have to keep adjusting and adapt to any situation you're in. You have to adjust. If I'm not doing something, when I got to Mizzou, I was on a bench and I was angry, and I'm like, okay, you can run, but you can't hide. You can run, go to another team. You can go run and go sit out and lose what you have, or you can stay here and work hard and overcome. And then, like I said, you just adjust and adapt. And then you're going to see the changes, but you cannot do it if you say, oh, I fail, I quit, and you keep running. You're running from yourself.
Right.
You know? But then in the situations now, it's not so much running now. It's a business. Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, I'm leaving this team because this team is going to give me $2 million. I'm gonna leave this team because they're going to give me $500,000. That's a difference. You know, we was leaving to go. I'm leaving because coach won't let me play. I'm sitting on the bench. You know, that's not a reason. You figure out which person, what spot do I want, and who I got to take out to get it.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. You right there. Okay, you're it. You're it. Tag.
Right. Exactly. That's so true. And I know with now the WNBA, like you said, so many stars in the game. Who is your favorite to watch today?
Well, I'm gonna have to say my girl Skylar Diggins, because she's from South Bend. So yeah, and I'm a Storm fan. I have a lot of great players that I like, but I'm gonna go with my girl Skylar from the Storm, and she, like I said, she's from here. I like a lot of players, so I can't really name a lot because it's so many good ones, you know.
Right.
So I'm just gonna say the Seattle Storm team, the whole team,
right?
The whole team, yeah.
You played overseas a little bit, right?
Yeah, I did.
How was that?
It was cool. It was very nice. I mean, if I know what I know now, I would have stayed.
Really? Really?
Yeah, I would have. I played in Saint-Étienne, France. It's right outside Paris. A little small town. It was kind of like a soccer town.
Wow.
And so that was cool. It was very different. It was like recreational ball.
Okay.
And the fact that for them, it was more of a social gathering. It was like they pay you to play, but the players on the team pay to be in the club. So there's already some kind of animosity going on right now. I mean, right at that time, because you're like, oh, you're getting paid and we're not. And so it worked out all right, because like I said, when you win, everything's cool when you win. There's not going to be a lot of problems as long as you win. And so I played there, and then I left France. I went to Geneva, Switzerland, and that's where I was supposed to go. I was supposed to go to Geneva in the beginning, and the sponsor fell through, and then I signed a contract to play in Sweden, in Stockholm, Sweden, and that was before I went to France, and I didn't know it would stay dark in Sweden for like 6 months.
Wow.
And I didn't know anything. Like, we didn't have tap on the computer or go on your phone and go look. So I went down to the library and I got a book, and I was like, dark for 6 months. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So I end up in France, and then left France, went to Switzerland. Switzerland was super cool. Switzerland is like a real diverse city. It kind of reminds you of Seattle. A lot of diversity, a lot of people from all over the world. They're there, and then you have the locals. And so their league was a little bit, even though France now is higher caliber, but at that time of Switzerland was a little bit higher caliber basketball. And we played the parts of different the different parts of Switzerland. Some parts are German, some parts are Italian, and you got the French. But in Geneva, a lot of people spoke English, so it was cool. And my coach, he was American from San Francisco.
Wow.
So so when I got there, the team was in you know how it works over there. They got 2 leagues. They got A League and B League, and the two bottom and of A League go down if you don't win. The last 2 teams go down, and the B League, the 2 teams can't come up. So the team I went to go rescue, they were at the bottom, and so you're like, oh, you gotta win to bring us up. So brought them all the way up to second place, and so and the team that beat us was the team from the girl was on my team in college. She was in Switzerland the year before I went. She went there, and so her team was the one that take us out. But it was very exciting and very very interesting.
Right. And what position did you play?
In Switzerland or in college?
Both.
Oh, I played forward. Forward. And in Switzerland, you play everything. Everything, play guard, forward, center. Yeah. So in high school, I was a center. So when I got to Mizzou, they moved me to guard. And I'm like, no. Yeah, so that hampered me from the get-go, because I was like, she put me in point guard, and I'm getting robbed.
Right.
I'm getting robbed. They taking the ball from me and all this, and I'm trying to run an offense. I can't even how to keep the ball right now. So like you said, make that adjustment. You got to go back in the lab and work on your dribbles and start thinking like a point guard. And you either do that or you continue on the bench. But I was able to convince the coach. I'm like, I'll play underneath. I get you all the rebounds you need, and I can play defense on the big person. So after a while, she listened to me, and she put me in a place where I could be successful. Right. So yes, she's trying to make me into Magic Johnson. I'm like, you can be Magic Johnson. I'm like, I'm Magic Johnson. I like magic, but I'm not magic.
And that's so important for, like you said, for your coaches and stuff, to put you in like the right position for you to succeed in, no matter what. Yes. So do you have a favorite game moment, or a buzzer beater, or a rivalry win, or anything like that when you think about it, it's like, oh, like, wow, like we did that.
Yes, I would have to say in your high school was going to semi-state, winning and going on down to semi-state to Indianapolis. So that was a big moment. And then in college, winning and we went to the Elite 8. And we ended up playing Oregon, which was they had a Canadian Olympic on their team that they was all hyping up. She's gonna do this, she's gonna do that, and we ended up playing up in Eugene, Oregon. So my family up in Seattle were able to come see us play, and they hadn't lost in that gym, and for her whole 4 years they had not lost. And so I was like watching her warm up, and I'm like, she shoot from the hip. I'm getting all that. And so I'm like, okay, she's the girl, but I'm like, she can't shoot over me. So I was able to shut her down, and everything she was putting up, I was blocking. And so of course we went on to win the game and to go on to play the Elite 8 until we run into them Louisiana girls. And so so that was a great moment to be in the final 8 of the NCAA tournament. Yes. Wow. And then they treat, the perks go up as you get further down. So it's like, oh, we staying in nice hotels. We flying the top notch, everything, top notch food. And that's one thing about winning. When you win, they give you everything you want. Everything, but lose and see how you get treated. Go McDonald's, Burger King, That's what you're getting.
Wow, that's I could see that. I've never played a sport a day in my life, but I can understand how that business runs. Yes, the best. Yeah. So
every on the plane, I remember. We used to have like 3 planes we would take, and so one of the planes, I think they held about 6, maybe 8, or maybe at the most 12, but I'm thinking the most 8. And so we have 3 little planes, and if we would lose, we know not to get in the plane with the coach, because she talked major. She talked major. And I'm like, oh, woman, if you don't hush. And so we would fight over who was going to get in the plane with her. We pushing and shoving, like, no, you. And so it would be so much animosity because you're like, oh, I'm not getting in the plane with that lady. She's gonna go off and talk. She have the stat sheet, and while you're on the plane, she look at this 1 for 8. I can shoot that with my eyes closed. Talking all kind of trash. So I was like, yeah. So those are little special moments, but it's things that motivate you. It's like, okay, all you got to do is win. You don't have to hear it.
Right.
You don't have to hear it. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's so true. And what tradition or ritual did you have, or do you still have, during like game days or something that could be surprising, or is this like your regular everyday routine? Yeah.
Well, in high school, it probably seemed weird, but I wore ankle weights all day at school.
Wow.
All day. And then I would eat, my mom always made me chili. Weird, right? Out of all things. So I wear those ankle weights in high school, and I eat chili. I go home and go to sleep, and get back up, eat. Keep those weights on. So when I get to the game, I take those weights off, and my legs feel so they feel so light, and I'm like flying all over the place. And I straight out the game, I like get like 5 steals, easy layups, just because my mind tells me that my feet are so much quicker because I've been dragging those weights around all day at school. So that's one. And then when I got to college, I don't know what it was. My hands was seemed like they was cold, and so I was like, I like for my hands to be real moist and when I'm ready to play. So I gripped the ball, and I'm like, but I was feeling like, I'm like, what's going on? Right. So I took a bag and put it in, I took a plastic bag and would put my hand in a bag and call myself heating up my hand.
Right.
And they thought I was crazy, but I did a lot of crazy stuff. So yeah. Right. So that's something I would do in college. And yeah.
Wow.
That was kind of creepy, but it worked for me.
Right. Yeah. It works for you. That's so true. And you coach young girls today?
Well, I teach elementary and I teach 4-year-olds to 11-year-olds. So I was doing camps, and I kind of like, I need some time. And so I took some time off, but everything starts back up this fall. I was doing so many camps, and I still do training in private lessons. And as far as the little girls, I got so many of them at my school that just like, I got so many athletic girls. It's unbelievable. My school is, it's kind of like international school. So we have a lot of people from all these different countries. So you have the Afghani girls, you got the South Sudan, you got from all Mozambique, you got them from Guatemala, everywhere, so you got all this mixture of energy coming in. So, yeah. So yeah, like I said, I teach 6 classes a day, 30 a week. So, right. My husband told me, he didn't tell me, but I scaled back because I have a grandson. So I spend a lot more time with him as opposed to camps and stuff like that. But now he's at the age now he can go more and be a bigger part of it. And so, yeah.
Does he like basketball, or is he taking to basketball?
He's, everybody likes soccer the most. And so soccer first. Yeah. I'm like, so he likes soccer. I'm trying to get him to be more interested in basketball. And so that's what some things we're working on this summer. Yeah. And last year was his first year being on the team. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is one fundamental of the game of basketball that we can all apply to our everyday lives?
One fundamental of basketball that we can. Basketball is a team sport. And in a team sport, you have to learn how to get along with everyone, even if you like them or you don't. It helps you be able to navigate through situations where you got to work together in order to achieve some success. So with that being said, in everyday life, in your job, it's the same thing. You got all these people you got to work with. You got to put on a smile, even though you don't want to. You got to go in and make plans so you can make things better and make changes, and you have to grow. You have to grow together. You have to grow individually. And so all those things from being on the team carries over. When you want to cry and quit and sit around and pout and you mad because you didn't get to play as many minutes. Same thing with your job. Somebody else got the award. You didn't get it. You know, somebody else got the bonus. Somebody else got the money from the city for being the top teacher or whatever. So it's like, you just do the best you can and learn how to navigate and be happy, and don't run around and be bitter and be a cancer on your team or like tearing down your co-workers and talking bad about people, even though you might have feel some type of way. It's best to just try to be quiet about it and try to do something about it that's positive instead of something negative, because when it's all said and done, it's all one collective group, you know, your team, your family, your co-workers, your job, whatever. So yeah, and you have to learn how to get along.
That's so true. That is so true. Well, I thank you, Debbie, for joining me today for Black Women in Sports Day. And I appreciate all that you have contributed to the game on and off the court. And thank you guys for listening and watching. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.